Let's face it, cruise Wi-Fi used to be unusable. Barely could even get an email to load. But now cruise lines are advertising streaming Zoom calls and even working remotely at sea. But the price, it's still shockingly high. So the real question is, has cruise ship Wi-Fi caught up? Or are you still just paying for frustration? My name is Shane with MapBound, and I'm bringing you insights from 25 years of international travel. And welcome to our channel. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about my new studio. Wanted to hear what everybody thought about it. Leave comments below if you think it's a good improvement, if you think there's anything I can change. I'd love to hear everybody's insights. So why was cruise ship internet so bad? Basically, you were connected to the internet like an airplane was. And it definitely wasn't the same speed you'd get if you had a land connection. The old system used satellite hopping, depending on where you were in the world, to make sure there was still line of sight to the satellite needed. This made it so it was limited bandwidth, shared by thousands of people. And of course, especially for safety reasons, the ship operations always have priority. So with that kind of internet, you'd have messages that would work, but your images will struggle and almost virtually impossible to watch a video. So at the end of the day, the old system wasn't slow because of the cruise lines, it was slow because of the physics of having to find a satellite. This was all before we had Starlink, which has definitely improved Wi-Fi on cruise ships. So basically what Starlink is, it is a group of a whole bunch of small satellites at low orbit. This made it so that there was lower latency and made it a lot easier to have a continuous connection while you're on the cruise ship. Because of these real improvements, social media will upload normally. And depending on what part of the day it is, video calls can also be possible. And when there is low demand, you'll find that streaming is a lot faster. Now, even though Starlink has changed the game when it came to Wi-Fi, you're still sharing with thousands of people on the ship, meaning that Wi-Fi performances change by day and can even change by location. So this in turn makes people think that Wi-Fi is going to be a lot faster when they purchase the cruise Wi-Fi package. Usually their expectation is that it will work as if they were at home, but in reality, you're really paying for more of a coffee shop Wi-Fi with over 4,000 people that you're sharing it with. But the newer Wi-Fi works well for messaging. It's good for little things on the ship's app, if you wanted to look at the port map, checking some emails, light browsing. There should be no problem at all if that's what you're using the Wi-Fi for. But keep in mind, it's still going to struggle during peak hours if you want to upload anything large. Gaming can lag behind, as well as sending a lot of your pictures and videos to the cloud. The main thing to remember is modern cruise Wi-Fi is very usable, but not unlimited. Now, if you watch my other videos, you know that I have not found a Wi-Fi package that I was willing to purchase yet. I did purchase it once for only a day while I was on a ship. A friend of mine was actually going to Cozumel the day after I was going to be there, so we left them a little trinket and I wanted to make sure I sent them a picture so they knew where it was at. But anyways, I only paid for it the one day, and that was only because I wanted to make sure my friend found the item I left for her. But now, let's go over the typical cost. Usually, it's a price per day, and if you buy on board, most of the time it's going to be more expensive than if you buy before. A lot of cruise lines are also having different tier levels where you can get premium Wi-Fi or whatever their standard Wi-Fi is. Now keep in mind, in most cases you cannot legally or practically use your own Starlink or satellite internet device on a cruise ship. Most major cruise lines now explicitly ban them. That includes portable units like Starlink Mini, RB Starlink, satellite dishes, routers designed to rebroadcast internet, and other satellite communication gear. The reason the cruise lines cite that they ban them is for safety and interference concerns with the ship communications, cybersecurity concerns, and revenue protection for their own Wi-Fi systems. Cruise Wi-Fi finally works now, but these prices might shock you. Carnival is roughly $125 to $175 for a 7-night cruise. MSC usually around $110 to $210 a week. Now Royal Caribbean can hit $30 per day. That's over $200 for that cruise. Virgin Voyages is around $245 for 7 nights. Princess and Celebrity usually $175 to $245 total. Holland American can be roughly around $210. And while Disney Cruise Lines sometimes over $40 a day for premium internet, which can top $280 for one device. And remember, that is usually per device. So for a family, you could spend hundreds of dollars just checking Instagram at sea. Most people find that they bought it so that they have the peace of mind while they're on the ship, but then they found that they barely used it. One of the things that I thought about when I was looking into getting a Wi-Fi package is I did some research and found that a lot of the ports are gonna have Wi-Fi at the port. So if you're okay with not having Wi-Fi for just a day or two while you're at sea, no need to get the Wi-Fi package. Another key thing that I didn't know at first is when you download the app A lot of times there's a messaging system built into the app so you can still communicate with your party via their app only. To me, that is more than enough to be able to tell people where you're going to be, where to meet you. I use this feature a lot, and then I don't have to spend hundreds of dollars on the Wi-Fi package. So one of the main points about the performance of Wi-Fi is that your experience is going to be based more on timing than the actual package that you buy. So for instance, in the evening, it's a lot higher demand, and usually it's going to be when you see the slowest time for the Wi-Fi. Also, if you're at port, a lot of times the Wi-Fi is going to be a lot faster than if you were just at sea on the same cruise ship. Another big thing is weather and satellite visibility is going to be a huge thing that may slow down the Wi-Fi on the ship too as well. And then I always like to ask one of the cruise ship employees if we're selling at full capacity or not. Because if the ship's only 70% full, 30% less people means 30% less people on the Wi-Fi. So when it comes to the timing, just remember morning means smooth sailing when it comes to the Wi-Fi speed, but in the evening could lag and have bad performance. It could be the premium package, but if it's in the evening, it could still feel like your internet is broken. So in turn, when it comes to trying to find the best performance of Wi-Fi while you're on the ship, try to use the Wi-Fi in the early mornings, not in the evening. This to me is actually perfect because usually that's the time when I'd want to be doing anything if I were to use Wi-Fi on a ship, because my nights are very packed and full of fun. If you do end up having to download content, of course you're going to want to do it then too as well, and not during the peak hours. Now this one I didn't even think about, but if you switch your apps to low data mode, that can help increase your Wi-Fi speeds. And then another one I didn't know about is shut off auto syncing or automatic updates. You don't need things that don't necessarily need to happen right while you're on the ship to be downloading in the background while you are trying to upload your family photos. Another pro move would be to log in, check what you need, and then log out. This in turn will actually help everybody. So if you're not using the internet when it's not needed, then it'll increase the chances of everybody having great Wi-Fi speeds on the ship. Just remember, cruise Wi-Fi rewards smart usage and not constant usage. And of course, there's multiple different reasons why somebody would need the Wi-Fi package while they're on the ship. I'm not going to go through them all, but here are some people who may want the Wi-Fi package. Remote workers are going to need consistent connection windows. If you're not too sure if the app's messaging system is going to be good enough for you, if you have a family and you want to coordinate better, maybe you should do the Wi-Fi package, especially if there's members of your family that don't quite always use the messaging systems on most cell phones. Another one would be content creators who want to upload daily. And then of course, travel planners who are constantly having to book flights or make reservations while they're on board. So some of the people who don't need it is, for instance, if you're just a social media scroller, it's probably a waste of money for you. If you're a casual vacationer, I say shut the Wi-Fi off, enjoy your vacation, and then you can get back to the daily grind when you get back. If the itinerary is port heavy, for instance, the Mediterranean cruise that I have coming up, there's a port 6 of the 7 days, so you don't really need to buy a Wi-Fi package. And then like me, people who just want to unplug and get away from it all while they're on vacation. Now, another thing too, if you're not quite sure if you're gonna need it, it's probably gonna be better for you to save money if you just maybe buy it on a day while you're on the ship, like I did with the Cozumel story. That way, you're only buying it when you need it. So at the end of the day, cruise ship Wi-Fi finally works, but it definitely isn't land speeds. And the value of it all depends on the purpose you're going to use it for, and not just curiosity whether or not you're going to want it or not. And just remember, for a lot of people, disconnecting from it all can be a way better experience. I'm Shane with MapBound, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out our website, our Facebook page, and our cruise recommended products. And remember, travel is life.